Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video to rant a little bit about cat, I guess, but it's been a while since I made a video. But you know, this year's cat was interesting. But more than that, what I wanted to talk about in general was, a lot of students. Usually, as a teacher, tend to hear a lot from students and then about their percentiles and their unhappiness regarding their marks and whether they did well, they didn't well, do well, etc. and etc. And mental health is one thing I really want to talk about, given that it's something that I'm quite cognizant about. And I think this is a very good time to talk about. It's just about to enter a new year, and I know the cat marks are out, and the percentiles are out. Have some patience though, because I'm going to take my time. I know the attention span of most of you is like uh, the equivalent of a butterfly sitting on a flower, but see, I compared to something positive only in a way. But I'll take a little time because I have a bunch of things to talk about, and I guess you will show the patience to get to the end of the video, because I did give you quite a bit of my time in the past. So I'm pretty sure you're going to listen to it, because so if you own good, I'm talking in your favor. Okay, by the way. So what I wanted to talk about predominantly was to tell you that I feel, okay, based on how I've scored in CAT in the last few years. I feel that luck plays a major factor. Okay, it shouldn't be the case, but every exam has a little bit of luck factor. But it hit me really hard this year, and therefore I thought I should, because a lot of people share how they got 100 percentile, they got 99.9 percentile, 99.8%. What did they do to get those percentiles? I mean, it's a big industry now, and on YouTube a lot of people make videos as to what all stuff they did to get 99.9 percentile. A lot of teachers who appear for CAT, coaching institutes, everything, they talk about their own 100 percentilers, but nobody really talks about people who screw up CAT a little bit, right? So that's the one thing I wanted to talk about in general, based on my percentiles all these years. But to give you a context, okay, why, and I'll speak predominantly about VARC. I'll not get into the other two subjects, although I'll just briefly touch upon it. But predominantly VARC, I can consider myself an authority a little bit to a certain extent, without sounding too arrogant. 2018 to almost this year, I have either been have contributed massively either to the passages in AIMCAT or to IMS. The SimCAT, which I think between them, at least 80% of the serious CAT aspirants do appear for one of these two mocks. So predominantly contributed questions to that, and that's why most of you guys, I think, would have seen me either in the AIMCAT videos or in the SimCAT explanation videos. But more importantly, something interesting happened this year. Okay, so there was this passage that I had set from a very obscure book called What is History? Way back, I think 1.5 2 years ago, almost, for IMS. I think it's there somewhere in the IMS material. And because you said so many tend to forget, you tend to forget what you've picked and what you've not picked. And almost 1.5 years later, I think this year's 2023 AIMCAT 14, there's a para summary question that I had given, because I was setting the AIMCAT BRC section from, I think, from AIMCAT 14 to AIMCAT, I don't know, about 6 or 7 AIMCATs before, I left. So the point is that almost unbeknownst to me, I had picked up a paragraph from the same excerpt. Okay, so and interestingly, this passage from a very obscure book actually showed up in CAT slot 2, the history passage. Okay, which means, the first interesting thing is that I picked up a passage which is probably going to appear in CAT later, not once but 2 times in 2 years. Okay, the same passage, which means that probably I was doing a decent job. Okay, again, without sounding arrogant, I was pretty happy about it. And the fact that I've been setting AIMCAT passages and SimCAT passages and IMS passages all this while, I do understand a thing or two about how EARC works. I hope you guys have seen enough on the channel as well. Okay. Now, and okay, to also like, 2018, I think, is when I had to appear CAT not as a student but as a teacher, because obviously if you're in the business of making the VARC sections for the important mocks, you will probably have to appear for CAT, so you understand. 2018, my CAT percentile was around 99.8. Okay, VRC I'm talking about. Okay, not about the other two. VRC 99.8 percentile. That was about 4 to 5 months after I'd started setting questions for the first time in my life. Okay, pretty good performance, I thought. And after 1 year, okay, 2019 CAT, and mind you, by the time we reached 2019 CAT, I had spent almost 3.5 to 4 years teaching VRC, and I had spent around 1.5 years where my full-time day job was to set AIMCAT level passages or AIMCAT passages, which means that I was spending about 10, 12, 14 hours a day reading a wide, diverse kind of stuff. And I'm also an avid reader myself. So even after my day, I would come and read novels and whatnot. So the interesting thing was 2019, my percentile actually dropped to 99.3 or 99.4 percentile, which is okay, though you could have a slight fluctuation. 2020, slot one was my paper, and people could go back and check why slot one was interesting. I wouldn't say much about it, but my percentile in 2020 was 95. Okay, that was when I this question popped up. And the interesting thing is, I did receive emails from students that year, 2020, that they followed the channel and they listened to my classes, and because of that, they went from 80 to 99 percentile. So I had students mailing me, they got 99 percentile plus in an exam where I scored 95 percentile. And it's not that I got dumber, right? You don't get dumb. I mean, first I thought I did, because I mean, age could make you, I don't know how age will make you dumb, but I thought probably my reading speed had fallen, or I became a bigger overthinker than as if it was possible. But 2018 to 2020, after 2.5 years of setting passages, and after spending 10 to 12 hours a day of reading, I got 95 percentile in VRC. Okay, I thought, okay, probably it's a fluke. 2020, I didn't appear for CAT. 2 years ago in 2022, after had taken a break from teaching in 2022, I got back into teaching. 6 to 7 months of setting questions for IMS this time. And 2022, my CAT percentile was in VRC was again 95. Okay, so 2 times back to back in CAT. VRC, for someone who scored 99.8 and 99.4 and spent the last 4 or 5 years teaching VRC, and spending 10, 12 hours a day of reading a lot of really good stuff. And I'm actually pretty decent with the language too. It's not like I've forgotten the language. English is not something to forget. I scored 95 percentile twice. Okay. And then probably I thought maybe the 40-minute paper doesn't suit me. Maybe I'm a very slow reader, or maybe I take time, or maybe I've become too much of an overthinker, or I was too distracted, whatever it is, isn't it? So this year I appeared for CAT VRs again. Now the interesting thing this year is I actually quit teaching completely. I was going through a pretty rough patch myself, and I had a bout of dengue, and then I went out in the mountain somewhere, and then I went to a totally different profession altogether, away from teaching, away from reading, or whatever it is, where predominantly forget about reading. I didn't have obviously any time to read anything in the last 2.5 months before CAT. I was not even speaking in English. Okay, I was speaking predominantly in Telugu. So, which means that 2.5, 3 months before CAT this year, there was no English in my life. Okay, forget about reading. There's no barely any speaking as well. And guess what was my personal this year, 2023 CAT? And I went there, and I was pretty exhausted myself, but I had that one day off coincidentally on CAT day. So I went and appeared for the CAT paper, slot two. And my percentile this time was 99.8 again. Okay. So I found that really interesting. So I have zero interest, zero prep this time, barely any reading. When you appear casually for the exam, I scored 99.8, whereas 2 years back, last year and 2 years before that, I was actually pretty serious, because I was in that profession, and I wanted to really score. Getting 100% was always my kind of goal. I wanted to do that once, but it didn't happen in this year. It's pretty felt close. But I went back to 99.8 percentile. Similar thing happened in LR also. Okay, so actually attempted the LR section very seriously last year, and I think I picked up one passage. Probably I don't know which one was easy or difficult. I just picked something that seemed interesting, and I think I made a mistake and got around 75, 80%. This year, I was actually not interested in going to LR because of the shocker last year. But after 15, 20 minutes of just wasting time looking around, I was like, chalo, I'll solve one set. Solve one set. I picked one set that looked interesting, solved it this year. And LR, I always mention to students that it's just more of common sense. But I did solve this and got 95%. So it's not like I didn't have common sense last year and suddenly, my brain lit up and I got common sense this year. And it's not like I became a genius. The only LR passage I have solved are in the actual CAT paper this year and exactly a year ago, last year. Okay, there's nothing in the middle. And I wouldn't talk much about quant because I'm an IIT ranker myself. I moved completely away from that field. But this quant paper also, the only comment I had was, you know, if a paper is like this, it means you're, I mean, if if you solve four questions versus you solve five questions, it literally makes a difference to where your career is going to be. Okay, one question in quant shouldn't make such a big difference to someone's life. Okay, but I think this year's paper was close to doing that. But we'll leave quant. I mean, enough people have spoken about quant and LR. I mean, I was a little disappointed that I got 95%, to be honest. I would have been happy if I just got 75, 80, because a person shouldn't just get up from an app, solve one set from in 15, 20 minutes and end up getting 95 percentile. And the same person got 80 percentile last year and randomly, it's always fluctuates. Sometimes I get 95, 96, sometimes I get 85. It's not like my level of intelligence is varying. But anyway, I'll talk predominantly about VRC. Now, VRC, I'm qualified to actually people like me should be scoring 99.5, 99.6 every single time. Okay. But I scored 99.8, 99.4, 95, 95, 99.8 again. These are my 5 percentiles. Okay. Which makes me think the paper is actually not testing my English standards or knowledge. The paper is not, I don't think the paper is really testing how good I am at verbal. Because if the paper says that 95, 95 twice and then 99.8, I found it a little weird. Which is why what I want to tell you about is that luck does play a major factor. What mood you went into in the paper, how many close options were there where you picked A instead of B or B instead of A. Luck ends up making a big difference, and sometimes I think that would be disheartening to you guys because you could be preparing the whole year. I mean, if someone's been in that profession for 5 years can get 95 percentile, I mean, God save you people. Most of what you've learned this year, what you've learned in ERC could be probably this year, and then you would have worked really hard and been consistent, and then probably you just had a bad patch of 40 minutes, and you would end up scoring around 95, 96, whatever it is. So two things I noticed here. Number one, I do not like it that I don't know why they're not going back to 1 hour. They're staying in that 40-minute paper. But I do not like it that the margin of error is so narrow now. I mean, it means that 7 to 8 marks across all the three subjects put together, 7 to 8 marks makes a difference between getting the top calls versus not getting most of the calls, the calls that you want. And I know that could be disheartening. Now, two things. Number one, I want you guys to believe, I want you guys to not associate your self-worth or your self-esteem or your sense of identity to your percentile. I want you guys to understand the reason I'm sharing my lower percentiles, and talking about something so controversial is because I want you guys to remember that sometimes luck does play. I won't say luck is the only factor. Hard work matters, work ethic matters, accountability matters. Okay, these things have to matter, or at least I would hope that we live in a world where these things matter. But luck is also a major factor. This exam is not a test of your intelligence. It's not a test of your how much hard work you've done. I know it's disappointing that at the end of the day, next year people would judge you based on that. That's going to happen. And people would say, oh, you got a new IM call. Maybe you're not good enough to get an IM Ahmedabad call. People would be like, oh, that person got this. There's a lot of comparison. Unfortunately, live in a generation where there's social media. It has made most of you really mentally fragile because the constant bombardment of peer pressure, societal pressure, all of that. And I know how difficult it could be for some of you guys. But please, please, please remember at the end of the day that your percentile is not a reflection of who you are. Okay. And I would also like to believe that even if you didn't do well, luck kind of balances out at some point. I mean, I don't mean it 100% because, there are obviously people, and I'm a brand ambassador of that category of people who almost always are Murphy's favorite. You wear a new shirt and go out and the crow shits on you. But I think I would like to believe that luck balances out some point in time, and then you could just like you had a bad bad day, you could have a good day someday when you don't deserve it. It's like how in cricket, one day you bowl really well, one bowler bowls really well, and then, they don't get wickets, and some other day they don't bowl well, but they get a lot of wickets. I think I would like to believe luck balance out. I know it's painful. That's like 1 year. You'll have to wait for 1 year. Unlike a bowler, you can't show up the next match and hope luck turns around. This is 1 year. This is one reason why I actually like GMAT. In CAT, you can't choose your center, you can't choose the location of that center, you can't choose the slot. Okay, which makes it sometimes cruel, isn't it? For example, this year my seat was on the sixth floor. Okay, and the bathrooms were bad, and people who believe in basic hygiene, those bathrooms will kind of depress you a little bit. And I was only thinking, okay, what about the women who were suffering from cramps that day? I mean, statistically there'll always be quite a few, such a big center. What about those who got the sixth floor? I mean, they're already at a disadvantage even before the exam started, man. It's not even their not even their fault. So a lot of these factors people don't like. I had a student in the past who used to do night college to take care of his family and then come back in the morning to early morning class. And there are also students I know who work like 12 hours, 14 hours, and then only have 2 to 3 hours to prepare for a day. So please don't get into those arguments about who deserved it, who didn't deserve it. I know some of you again talk about meritocracy and like, okay, intelligent person but still didn't get. Intelligence is also intelligence itself is a function of luck. I don't know whether you understand it or not. If you genetics, if you read about enough about genetics, intelligence is not entirely genetics. Also on top of that, I mean, your upbringing, your environment, the friends you met, the teachers you found, the coaching institute center you went, what kind of teachers you found there, isn't it? Did they do their job properly or not? Did you have a friend who was studying properly, who was disturbing you? Enormous number of parameters make you who you are. So it's like there's a big luck factor anyway outside. So that whole argument that okay, this is a deserving person, this is not a deserving person, itself is sometimes a little muddy. Okay, so but I won't get into that. It's like too much even for my too much for my intelligence to I can't understand that stuff. But the one thing I understood is the only thing I have data for, I want to transfer that to you, is that someone like me can get 95 percentile in VARC. It means that it's possible your bad day can really bring your percentile. The other thing I also want to say is that if you work hard and you have enough knowledge, on a really bad day, you will not slip massively. So that's one good thing about CAT. And I know, I mean, I do empathize even with the people who said, who conduct the CAT exam. And I want to empathize at least, even if it's not 100%. That okay, it's a difficult exam to conduct, too many students, and GMAT is expensive, CAT's not that expensive, but I don't, three slots, three different papers, tend to normalize, you use statistics. I don't know how all of that works. I'm not a genius, but even if when I try to empathize, put that aside. At the end of the day, I would like to believe that if you have a lot of knowledge, if you are the guy who's capable of getting 99 percentile in CAT, even on a bad day, you won't fall to 85 percentile. Okay, maybe you'll fall to 95, 96. And I know in the case of some of you people, that 99 to 95 itself is like a big, makes a major difference, and you will not get any colleges that you would want to, and you'll have to spend a whole year again probably if you really want to. So I want, and that process is hard. Okay, I get it, which is why I want to remind you that sometimes it is what it is, and that plays a major role. And please take care of your mental health. Please don't make this your sense of identity. Please don't let someone else make this your sense of identity. Okay, if someone else did well, got 99.9%, good for them. Let them go to IIM Ahmedabad, post their campus pictures for you. Be happy for them. I mean, it is, I mean, it's this, you don't know. I think it all balances out in the end is what I would like to hope for. You give your best for the next year or for the other exams. I would also want you to understand that you shouldn't give up, okay? Because MBA is a good degree to have. I don't have an MBA myself. Um, After my graduation, the whole the IIT prep itself, and studying in an NIT kind of was more than enough for me. And I worked in an investment bank for a couple of years, and then I was like done with that, and moved on to journalism, and I write for some publications. But so MBA was not for me. But I realized even for teaching, okay, if I had an IIM degree, I would have made a lot more money. Okay, even teaching whatever I'm teaching. So the brand value matters. IIMs open a lot of doors for you. Good colleges, not IIMs per se, but the top, top 10, 15 colleges, whatever, they do open a lot of doors for you. So please do not give up. And it's not a rat race. There is no deadline that you have to rush towards. that you'll have to get in before this. I mean, yeah, I mean, our society kind of puts that clock on all our heads, and some people have it harder than others. But I want you to believe that, if you have a dream, please protect it. Okay, like he says in Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith Carter. If you have a dream, protect it. If you want to go to, say, I am Ahmedabad, or I am Bangalore, I am Calcutta, or whatever it is, it's a beautiful dream to have our SPG, and whichever college it is, it's a beautiful dream to have, because only you know your struggle. Okay, you know where you started, you know where you were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and how difficult this journey was. So your target also, and the estimation of how far you've come, only you can judge it. Someone else should not be able to judge that based on your percentile. So don't worry about that. But you protect your dream, you protect your goal, you give your best, and sometimes the results may not come in a year. It may take 2 years, 3 years. Sometimes the results you want may never come, but I would like to believe that, this is a generation that's pretty smart, and people do make a lot of money doing a lot of, in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different jobs at which they are good at. There's so many avenues. There's so many avenues to get into good colleges, good B schools, in India and abroad. So it's also not lost because of your, one low CAT personal. If you've done well and you're still watching this video, I mean, good job. I'm happy for you. And please remind this to the other friends of yours who've not done so well, that this is what this guy on YouTube is saying. Manfred doesn't know what he wants to say, but the point is, please don't make your percentile your insignia. Okay, get out of that mode. If you're not done well, it's fine. Try harder next time, and hope that maybe luck favors. If everything is chaos, you don't know, right? Sometimes a coin could fall in your favor. And believe in yourself. I mean, if you can't sell yourself to yourself, you cannot sell yourself to others at anyways, isn't it? And as long as so don't lose your faith based on the percentile, because this is a very tough time for students, I've realized. And then the workshops will start happening from a lot of institutes. They'll teach you how to go through this whole GDPI sessions, what to say, what not to say, interviews, and all of that. And then you meet people who have higher percentiles, and comparisons start, and okay, this guy got this and he got that call, and there's been a lot of talk, and that's too much noise. Sometimes your brains can't take it. I know how I feel with all that noise, so I can only imagine how much some of you would be going through. So please protect your brain, protect your heart and your soul as well, isn't it? And remind yourself that at the end of the day, you did your best. Okay, that work ethic is very important. That question, did you do your best, is always important. If the answer to that is yes, the outcome, even if it was not in your favor, you can really feel proud of yourselves, or give it another shot. But don't make the CAT percentile the symbol of your intelligence, because as my percentiles have proven, a person who has all the knowledge and all the ability required to at least score in VARC, I don't want to talk about other subjects because I've not touched them since, I don't know, 20 years. But for VARC, all the prep, all the knowledge, all the ability, I had that, and I still ended up at 95 percentile, not once but twice. Okay, and I didn't make a video back then because I have to get back to the original percentile before I could say, hey, this is just luck. Otherwise, people just say, oh, you just lost your ability over the period of time, you just got dumber. It's quite possible these days we're all dumbing down, isn't it? Because of the kind of content we're consuming, and all of us are consuming on internet. But I went back to 99.8. Okay, so the point is that the percentiles are not an exact reflection of my knowledge or my ability or my intelligence or my hard work, which means it's proven statistically that luck does play a major role. So I want you guys to remember, because most of you would have given CAT, if you're watching it, would have given CAT for the first time, probably second time. As long as you've done your best, please take care of your mental health. Please stay safe. Have a great year. And keep reading, and find your own peace. Okay, thank you.